All right, welcome to the Week 14 edition of Primetime Rundown. I'm your host, Jarrett. I'm joined by my co-host, Dalton, once again. And we are inching ever closer to the NFL playoffs. They're on the horizon. It's coming up pretty soon. And we're also inching close to our fantasy football playoffs. We're actually a week out from that. So before you listen to this episode, if it's Friday morning at 7 a.m., our Hard Count Heroes Fantasy Show podcast will come out. And if you want to listen to about our fantasy league and all the drama we got going on there, so go get that. Go check that out if you got time. Uh, Going on to our matchups for this week on Week 14, Thursday night we have the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Uh, Not a very enticing matchup here, I would say, considering the records of each team. The Rams come into this one at 3-9, I believe, and the Raiders come in at 5-7. So honestly, they just picked up Baker Mayfield too. The Rams did, but I wouldn't expect him to start this week, just because he's probably got to learn the playbook and all that.
He didn't even
So
learn the Panthers playbook.
apparently not, if since they released him. He got scooped up pretty quick though. A lot of people are thinking he was going to go to the 49ers, but I don't think they don't have a need for Baker Mayfield. Running with Brock Purdy is probably what the 49ers want to do. But I would expect like Bryce Perkins or John Walford to start this week against the Raiders. So who do you think has the upper hand in this matchup? I mean, I feel like the Raiders kind of do it since they have the momentum coming off of week 13.
The Yeah, that's like the only leg up either team can have. Because I don't think
Yeah.
this matchup's going to be too exciting for a game.
No, not for a Thursday night game, man. It's kind of lackluster. The Raiders did beat the Chargers last week 27-20, and the Rams barely lost to the Seahawks 27-23, but we'll have to see here. Honestly, like you're saying, I think this matchup is going to be a little lackluster, and I wouldn't expect it to necessarily be up to the hype that a lot of people probably would have thought of at the start of the year. So that's the matchup for Thursday night. We'll wrap back to that to predict our scores like always. But then Sunday night, a game that was flexed to the primetime spot, the Miami Dolphins taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. This should be a little more of an interesting game. I would actually say this is probably the most interesting game this week. Tua and the Dolphins are going to take on the Chargers. Justin Herbert. Uh, the Chargers come in at 6-6. The Dolphins are 8-4. So I would expect this game to be pretty high on the offensive scoring end.
Especially
Obviously,
passing.
yeah, Dolphins have a lot of weapons. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, we all know the big names. Jeff Wilson's been kind of downgraded, and Raheem Mostert has stepped back into that role. But I still expect the Dolphins to kind of keep it rolling on the offensive
Mm.
end. And the Chargers, I feel like they have some good offensive pieces when healthy. We'll have to see if Mike Williams comes back or not. Joshua Palmer's been okay, and obviously they have Austin Eckler. So on the defensive end, though, I think is their biggest issue, just because they've kind of had trouble containing some teams, and they've been on primetime a couple of weeks so far this year, and they have not been good on primetime. They lost to the Chiefs, they lost to the 49ers, so we'll have to see what happens in that one.
And now they got to go against Tua, who has been like on point with connecting with his receivers. Waddle,
Exactly.
Hill. Oh, it's going to be
It's
interesting.
going to be tough for the Chargers. I do think they have a slight advantage, though, being at the Los Angeles Stadium. What is it? SoFi? Yeah, that's what it is. So we'll have to see about that one. A good week for Los Angeles. Both of their teams get in on prime time, but we'll wrap back to that one as well. And then finally, Monday night, the Patriots take on the Arizona Cardinals. And I don't know how the fucking Patriots keep getting on prime time. I mean, they've been
It's not even worth it. They don't put on the show they need to for prime time.
exactly they're meh this whole year, and the Cardinals are 4-8. So this one, honestly, I don't think it's as bad as Thursday night with the Rams and the Raiders, but I wouldn't expect a whole lot out of this one either.
This week kind of
As
sucks for primetime games.
it does.
Wow.
I feel like this game could be close. The Patriots and the Cardinals. maybe if James Conner gets the ball rolling and Kyler Murray actually kind of buckles down. But Patriots, same story as them as it goes for the Chargers. They've been bad on prime time the last couple of weeks. Lost to the Vikings. Last week they lost to the Bills, and that Bills loss looked awful. And they just couldn't really get anything going on the offensive end. And the Bills did what they do best, and score. So, well, I don't know about Bill Belichick right now. I know he's a great coach and everything, but honestly, if I were him, I'd probably just hang it up and say, you know what, I'm done. I think he probably should have got out of there once Brady retired. Or not Brady retired. He should have retired once Brady got out of there and went to the Buccaneers. Saved the legacy, but obviously that's not in his best interest, according to him. So I wouldn't expect a whole lot from this one either. So let's go back to the Thursday night game, Rams and Raiders. Give me a score and who you think's gonna win.
Wow, I don't. I'm gonna go. Raiders are gonna take this one because they got the momentum. Josh Jacobs has been looking good the last few games, so I think that's gonna get taken into play. But I don't think it's gonna be super high. I'm gonna go 28-14. Raiders win.
28-14. Yeah, this one's kind of ones that I feel like could be a toss up because the Raiders are very inconsistent, and some weeks they look like one of the better teams of football, and a lot they look like they kind of are towards the bottom. But I'm gonna go with the Rams in this one just because they put up such a fight against the Seahawks last week. And I feel like if Cam Akers can keep the ball rolling, early on in this year, he looked very disappointing, but he's kind of taken over the lead role in that backfield. So I feel like if they can keep the ball rolling and the defense can show up, I think they can win this game. So I'm going to take them in this game probably by a score of 23 to 23 to 19. I'm thinking 23-19. It's going to be one of those odd scoring games. We saw that last week with the Colts and Cowboys game. It was actually a scorigami first time where it was 54-19 in an NFL game. So the 23-19 Rams win that one in a close one. And then moving on to Sunday night, the most interesting game of the week. Uh, Miami Dolphins taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Who do you have winning this one?
I'm going Miami to win this one, but it's sad when you look at primetime games and your exciting game is this one. Like it's
Well, I don't think this is a terrible game.
well, no, but it's just like if this is your most exciting game out of 3 primetime games, come on
Yeah.
NFL, get your
And I believe
scheduling together.
Well, I believe beforehand too, this game was flexed into the Sunday night role. It was Kansas City and Denver before, and obviously we know the story about
Oh,
Denver.
Broncos, what
What
happened?
happened? So, yeah, I don't know about this one. What's the score you have for this one?
I'm gonna go. Wow, I don't know. I had numbers in my head, but then they went poof. Um, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 38-35. Miami wins. I think it's gonna come down to a
God
field goal.
damn, high scoring.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hope so.
I can believe it. Uh, I'm also going to go with the Dolphins on this one. I do kind of believe in the high scoring prediction you have here, just because two offenses that really can generate some firepower. I'm going to go with Miami 31-27 over the Chargers. I feel like they're going to carry on the momentum that they've had this whole year. Kind of a down week against San Francisco last week when they lost 33-17, but a good bounce back is on the way, I think. And they're definitely a team that's going to be a deep playoff contender, I would say. They're going to make a run. So I'm going to go with them 31-27. I feel good about that. And then moving on to Monday night. Patriots taking on the Cardinals. What's your score and who do you have winning?
Again, I don't know who to pick. Both teams are a toss up because neither of them are playing spectacular. There's no like
Yeah.
eye catcher like, oh, yep, they're gonna win. But I'm gonna think after the I'm just gonna say the defeat that the Patriots had last week. I'm not gonna quote myself again. Um, I think Patriots are gonna take this one, but it's not gonna be as high scoring. I'm gonna go with 21-17.
Yeah, there you go. I feel good about that one too. I will go ahead here though, and I think the Patriots do have a good shot to win this game, but I'm gonna go with the Cardinals fresh off the bye week, and they're at home as well. So I think that will play into advantage to them. Off the bye week, you can kind of strategize, and they can really get a look at this Patriots team who's struggled recently. So and they've played some good opponents as well. So I think Arizona can really kind of learn from the previous games, and then come up with a good offensive plan to get guys like James Conner involved, get DeAndre Hopkins open, get Marquise Brown open. So, and a lot of their guys are getting healthy again. So I feel like Cardinals will win this game. It will also be close, but it might be a little more low scoring. So I'd probably go 26-20. Cardinals will win that game, and they'll kind of look decent. I'm thinking honestly. The AF or not the AFC, the NFC West is not the greatest division in football right now. I didn't really think they lived up to the expectations that they could have been. I mean, the Seahawks and the 49ers are standout teams, but you had the Rams that have been bad. And the Cardinals, I mean, it's possible they could get in the playoffs, but they really need to make a run at it. So that starts Monday night.
Yeah, they need to buckle down and go.
Yeah, exactly. So then who do you have for a player that's going to break out this week or have a big week?
No one. Just no one.
No.
No one.
Wow. No one?
I'm gonna have to just go with a star player that's. Well, no, there's a couple star players actually in these matchups that stuck out. Um, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs on this one, just because he had a bit of a rough week this week. So I think he's gonna come off this as a rebound and shoot for the stars or run for the stars, whatever it is he does.
Yeah, that's fair. He looked really good against the Seahawks that one week, and he's been kind of one of the better running backs recently. So I feel like that's a pretty solid pick. Uh, as for myself, I'm gonna go with my fellow Southpaw, Tua Tagovailoa, to be my kind of breakout player of the week. I think he's gonna sling it around against the Chargers defense and really kind of light him up. He's got good weapons, like we mentioned before: Waddle, Hill, Mostert, and Gesicki. So I feel like he's gonna be able to really kind of sling the rock around and just really air it out against this Chargers team. So that's our picks for Week 14. You'll have to join us again next week in Week 15, so we can look even further into the playoff picture and discuss that week's primetime games. Uh, as for that, that's pretty much it for us. Make sure you follow the socials and check out our TikTok. We've been posting extra content to there. The Instagram is where you can get most of our main informational league stuff. And YouTube, obviously, go check out Hurricane Heroes Fantasy Show if you haven't already. And that's about it for us. So thank you for watching, and we will see y'all next week.
Good night, y'all.